That is why the walrus always has the right of way. Simple statement of fact.
I mean, y'all, it's too much to explain. We can't go into the inner machinations of that explanation, but we have Bret Scott here.
What you don't realize, that was like a 25-minute story.
Yeah.
And it ends in that line.
100%. Yeah.
And by the way, I did break the fourth wall as I promised.
Good. Yeah. By all means. Yeah. It's there. I don't like that because the camera is like, I can see myself. And so it's like I'm looking at myself, judging myself. But you're more than welcome to at any time. Oh, no, you don't even have. Okay. Well, not that it would affect you. It affects me. But anyway. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Get a little thing.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm hunching
a little
over
monitor. Right. Okay.
like a little gremlin.
Sure.
But great. So a lot of great stuff. Let's talk about how you got out here. So you mentioned that you were in Jordan.
Yes.
And you were a lecturer out there.
Yeah. I was for 3 memorable weeks the acting dean.
Oh, wow.
Which was absurd. But yeah, I was the senior lecturer for directing. I was teaching film directing for the Red Sea Institute of Cinematic Arts, which was a 5-year-long project that the King of Jordan put together. Mm-hmm. King Abdullah II of Jordan, educated in the West, a huge film fan.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he cameoed or had like a walk-on role on Star Trek: The Next Generation, like that kind of film fan.
Interesting.
And before, he was never supposed to be the king. He was the second in line to the throne. His brother was supposed to be the king. And the dirty secret of monarchies is that the monarch is really only as powerful as the people in the king's court, the people who surround the throne, really. Sure. And when King Hussein was near the end of his life, the court kind of lost faith in Abdullah's older brother. They were like, no, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
And Abdullah's like, what?
Yeah.
And he had 6 weeks to prepare to be king.
Wow.
Yeah. All of a sudden, like 6 weeks later, Dad's gone, he's king.
The role of a lifetime.
And also, older brother, little resentful.
Sure.
Prior to that, he had been the head of the special forces.
Mm.
Spielberg comes to Jordan to shoot Indiana Jones 3, while Abdullah is head of the special forces. Mm-hmm. And so Abdullah is his helicopter pilot. He would fly him from Amman, where he was staying, down to Petra every day to shoot the Last Crusade. The last part of the Last Crusade all takes place is effectively in Petra. And that's how they became friends, right? Because, Prince, royalty, Spielberg, kind of the same level. Yeah. They just hit it off and stayed friends. So now Abdullah is the king, and he calls up Spielberg and says, hey, I'm king now, and my country has no industries, which is true. Jordan has almost no natural resources. It's one of the only Arab nations with no oil. It's the fourth most water-poor nation in the world.
Wow.
They have one export, which is potash, a kind of fertilizer, like base for fertilizer. That's about it.
Wow.
They're at the rest
arid.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a tough world. So his father, Hussein, had sort of built a knowledge economy. And so people who couldn't, like the uber wealthy from that region would send their kids to London or send their kids to New York or something, right? But the next level of wealth down would send their kids to Amman for education. It was considered sort of the pinnacle of education in the Middle East, North Africa region. And Hussein's looking around for other soft industries. Like, what are some other, since we don't have any resources, what's something else we could do similar to like an education sector? And he realizes there's no film in the MENA region, which is true. There's no studios, there's some history of like low comedy and porn in Egypt. Mm-hmm. There's some television production in Dubai, and Morocco, thanks to its influence with the French, has some film history. But other than that, there's like zero film production throughout that whole region, other than in Israel, which is they have slightly different views.
Sure.
The Israelis and the rest of that region.
Yeah.
There are a couple of differences of opinion.
Yeah, quirks.
So Abdullah decides, I'm going to start a film industry. And he calls up Spielberg and says, hey, how do I start a film industry? Spielberg says, well, first you probably want to have a film school because you're going to need some filmmakers. And he says, if you provide the buildings and the funding, I'll get the teachers. And Spielberg went to USC, got a bunch of teachers to go over and do some workshops with the Royal Film Commission. This led to the actual foundation of the school. And Dr. Jamie Heineman, who was the former head of AFI and is married to the dean of Elizabeth Daly, the dean of the USC Film School. Like, talk about a powerhouse, right?
Yeah.
The dean of the USC Film School and the head of AFI married.
That's
so
wild.
Jamie goes over and takes Elizabeth with him, and they set up basically Rasica.
Wow.
And a couple years into that, I got hired to teach directing there, which was mind-blowing. You know, one of the reasons that Abdullah put that program together, I'm talking about it like it's my buddy. Yeah, you know, Abby, the King Abby.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Just that goes on the lower third here. It's not authentic.
No, not authentic. Anyway, right, we were instructed, if you ever ran across His Majesty, do not make direct eye contact and only speak when spoken to.
That's right.
Although we were given sheets of paper with our names on them and the royal crest, and we were instructed, it was basically our film permit.
Yeah.
And we were instructed, if we were ever pulled over, just flash this at them, right? Like, and say, I am in the employ of His Royal Majesty. Those are the exact words. I am in the employ of His Royal Majesty. Got me out of a ticket.
Wow. A ticket.
One ticket. What Abdullah's theory is that a culture that cannot express itself is an oppressed culture. And for the history of film, basically, the Middle East, North Africa region has had its stories told to it by the West.
Right.
Because they don't have film production and a way to tell their stories to the West, to send their stories out. And by creating this group of filmmakers, maybe some better understanding could be reached between East and West by telling their stories. Look, this is where we're coming from. This is how our culture works. This is what we believe. These are the experiences we have had.
Right.
If you show Lawrence of Arabia, which is considered maybe one of the 3 best Western films ever made,
Yes.
to a crowd of Palestinians, they will riot.
Sure.
And like burn your theater down. Because that story is told from the point of view of the Western culture. It makes a hero out of T.E. Lawrence. It makes the Arabs look like a bunch of bumbling idiots. It makes them all look like they're, Sheriff Ali. As long as the Arabs fight tribe against tribe, they will be a little people, a silly people, greedy, barbarous, and cruel. Well,
yeah, that's not going to play well.
No, not at all.
Gosh.
So the story of the Arab revolt told by the Arabs would be a completely different movie.
Yeah.
And that was a mission I could get behind, teaching people to tell their stories.
100%.
And that's kind of what, as much as I love telling my own stories, and as much as I love writing plays and directing plays and making films, giving other people the tools to tell their stories and hearing these stories from people who have never had the opportunity, that just fires me up.
Absolutely. I love that. And yeah, especially through the lens of, I mean, I'll use a much stronger word than I'm intending, like in a discriminatory fashion in that way, you know, like people's perception of different cultures and how that sort of plays on a film. Yeah, giving them access to tell their stories, maybe also even giving them the access to talk about the things that they perceive from the West.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it kind of holds a mirror up to us, and it allows them to voice their, their perception of history.
Yeah. Here, by the way, here's a problem that I have with you.
Yeah.
Great. I'd love to see that film.
100%. No, I love that. And that's cool that you're part of that foundation. And then so from that, where does that sort of take you back?
Right. Just going back to the original question, how did I end up here?
I love that.
So The second year that I was working there, the school had run into some pretty profound financial problems because Jordan had run into some pretty profound financial problems.
Sure.
The global recession is still going on. One of the reasons that I was even teaching there was that all film production left Los Angeles in like 2009.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Just diversifying.
Yes, because the Great Recession had started.
Yeah.
And the real estate bubble had popped and nobody was lending money. And studios need banks to lend them money to make films.
Right.
Period. No one in their right mind makes a film with their own money.
Right.
Because that is a recipe for loss. Mm-hmm. Make a film with somebody else's money, always, because it's a gamble. Mm-hmm. Sometimes take Jaws, or even take like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I believe was made for like $80,000, $75,000, some ridiculously low amount, and grossed into the millions. Like, what a great gamble, right?
100%.
But you have about the same odds at like the craps table.
Right. Yeah. It's not guaranteed. It's it's literal luck and, a moment, Evil Dead and these things that have like a slow rise as people, as it sort of disperses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%.
So, the Jordanian government has a $2 billion budget shortfall in this midst of this recession. And the way that's handled in a monarchy is they just quit paying everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally, like your paycheck on the first just isn't there. Yeah. And it's not, and the people who are on the government payroll, like the street sweepers, the doctors, the police, the firemen, the teachers who are working for the Royal Film Commission, everybody, like nobody got a check.
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of looked at each other like,
yeah,
what do we do? Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the people who hold my mortgage back in Pasadena are not going to wait. Also, my child would like to eat.
Yeah.
And it's fairly insistent about that on a daily basis.
Just keeps bugging.
Yeah. So it became imperative to get a job in the States quick because clearly things were not so stable here, right?
Yeah.
You could always tell when bad news was coming too because the dean, who was Australian, would bake before a faculty meeting. Like if you walked in and you saw baked goods on the table, it's like, this is not going to be a good meeting. There's some bad news coming.
He died.
And so when the paychecks weren't going to be coming in that month, there was like cookies and a cake and a pavlova, and he went over like
oh man, did anyone eat it at all?
By the end of it, I was just ready to throw the stuff at him. Like, and it wasn't even his fault.
Yeah.
So I started applying for jobs here in the States like crazy. If you've ever applied for a professorship, you should get the job just for applying because it's like. You're filling out a statement of intent, letter of teaching philosophy, a chronological list of every creative act you've ever been a part of since you started building with blocks. Yeah, like it's just you end up turning in like a phone book worth of stuff for a job that is actually pretty straightforward. Like, hey, teach people.
Yeah,
and so I filed maybe 35, 40 applications. Some of which I was like clearly not qualified for, but I was desperate.
Sure done.
Maybe had 10 interviews, got invited to like 4 schools to do here, audition for your, when I came here, I had been back in the States for about 24 hours. I was completely upside down with jet lag. Mm-hmm. And I taught, one of the things you do when you interview for a professorship is you teach a little sample class. It's like an audition.
Gotcha.
And I taught a brief lesson on After Effects for like an hour. The students who weren't even like film students in any way were like interested, asking questions, wanting to know how this other thing worked. I was like, this is pretty awesome. Like, I like these cats. Like they're, and they offered me the job right there, which I found out later was unusual to be offered the job like in the room.
Yeah.
And I said, I have one more interview that I have to go to. I promised them I would go, but I'll let you know the minute I have had this. And I go to interview at this other school, and it was like a wealthy private art school. The salary was almost twice what they're offering here at Sul Ross. The school was so well funded they had like a Macintosh inside a Macintosh, right? Yeah. And they put that on top of their Starbucks that they had inside their like organic sushi restaurant.
100%. Yeah.
And that was just in one dorm.
Right.
But when I went to go teach my sample class, I could feel my words bouncing off their foreheads.
Yeah.
They were not there for it. And ultimately, that's the job.
Yeah.
My job is to try and take all of these things that I've been given as gifts of information from some pretty amazing people who are willing to share their knowledge and their philosophy and their experiences with me, and also help shape my view of the way art should work, my view of the way comedy should work, my view of the way film should work. I've been given these incredible gifts, and my responsibility is to pass them on to others so that these people have maybe just a tiny little bit of immortality. And if it's going to bounce off their heads, those aren't the people I want to give those gifts to.
Right.
So I thought, well, these cats here, these are sponges. I'd rather go teach the sponges than teach the brick walls.
Yeah.
And so, I remember looking up and down Highway 90 and thinking to myself, like, I don't know how my wife's going to do with this, but I guess this is where we're going.
Yeah.
So, and the intent was to be here for 1 year.
Wow.
It was our foothold back in America. We deal with whatever Alpine had to offer for a year, and then we'd go to where we really wanted to be.
Yeah. Right.
Well, 14 years later, I guess this is where we really want to be.
There you go. Man, that is so cool. So harrowing too. I mean, I think that's kind of a unique place, or a unique thing about this place, is you kind of run into very motivated, proactive students who are kind of making their own way, you know, because this place is so out of the way, you know, like I was from El Paso. I didn't want to go to UTEP, you know.
You don't find Sul Ross by accident.
No, not at all. It becomes like a thing that kind of stands outside of it. And, you know, I'm kind of like on a similar thing, you know. I'm on my 10th year here, going on 11, you know, and I work here now. And it's just because the people, you know, the students, the faculty and staff, you know, we all kind of have this interesting sort of line of how this small remote place just sort of has an impact, you know. And so I known many theater majors over the years that I've been here, and to me, they're all like distinct. And I think, do you find that maybe there's an aspect of yourself being in those classes and sort of being ministered to in a certain way of being encouraged to write, being encouraged to be funny, being encouraged to perform, being encouraged to create? Are you kind of playing to that, or do you kind of see each sort of, have there been sort of outliers that have sort of presented themselves that, I hope that question was.
That's I kind of. So
I tried. I'm going for the Emmy.
I don't think
whatever the Emmy for podcast is.
It's the potty, isn't it?
Thank you so much for this potty. PODDY. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think there's any such thing as a typical theater student. There are some theater students. There are some commonalities to them. But there's no such thing as a typical theater student. The commonalities are look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Also, but enough about me. Tell me what you think about me. Those are both common to, and I recognize as a person who holds a BFA in theater, like I can tell you, like that's. People tend to get into theater initially because they have some kind of damage. They like the attention, they like the escape, they like the adulation. It makes them feel good to belong to something. There are a lot of, it's rare to find a stable theater student.
Right, well adjusted.
I can think of exactly one. Exactly one. Olivia Pertuso is the only truly stable theater student I have ever met.
Yeah.
Both as a theater student and as a person teaching.
Yeah, totally.
And then what happens is people either, as they get good at it, it doesn't fill up whatever hole they have in them anymore, and they quit.
Yeah.
Or they get therapy and the hole gets filled and they quit. Or they get therapy and the hole gets filled and then they become craftspeople.
There you go. Yeah.
Or they never, ever, ever grow and it always stays, look at me, be like me, tell me to be, you know, and they become this sort of black hole of vacuous need.
Yeah.
And so those are that's kind of, aside from those people who get, for want of a better phrase, psychologically healed and become craftspeople, the rest of them are a fairly exhausting bunch. Taxing.
Gotcha. I have a little story with Olivia, because kind of going back to the Cinderella production from this past summer, that was like my first time sort of acting. And that wasn't
one of the things I loved about watching you work this summer actually was how committed you were. I was so, I don't know if I got a chance to tell you that, but I love that you took it so seriously despite the fact that it was an ensemble role. I love that you were like, when you were a soldier, you were out there marching like a soldier should march. Like I saw you really try to believe in this thing that we were creating, and that meant the world to me.
Thank you. No, I mean, it was so cool to work with everyone, and everyone's just so generous, and I'm terrified, and I really appreciate your kind remarks there, because I was scared. I was very scared, because I was like, they're going to destroy me. They're going to eat me alive.
No, let me remind you for just one quick second. You know what we do? We dress up in costumes and pretend to be other people in front of people.
Right.
Nobody's saving lives or curing cancer here. It's the most unnatural thing in the world. Nowhere, like in nature, you don't see like a bunch of pigs go hide out in the barn for 6 weeks, practice being chickens, and then invite like the whole barnyard to come in and say, hey, watch us be chickens for the next hour. It's just this weird, unnatural make-believe thing that we do. And that's about where the stakes are with this.
Right, totally. Yeah, everything else is, it's that whole idea of like public speaking is like more of people would rather die than like, why? Speak in public. Why?
Because we are herd predators. Right? You have binocular vision that focuses and converges at the same point so you can grab your prey. Forward-facing ears, so you can track the direction of your prey. However, while we are at the apex of predatorhood on this planet, we're like relatively scrawny, weak-shaped apes.
Yes.
So we really only work well in groups. We're herd in that sense, but predators because we have all this equipment to go grab our prey.
Right.
As an individual, however, we're incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? What happens to the animal that gets cut from the herd, what happens to them?
They're gone.
Right. They're dinner.
Yep.
When you are on the stage giving a public speech, you are singled out from the herd. You are up in front in the spotlight. The herd's over there in darkness. This kicks off a little thing in the limbic system.
Yeah.
Right? The nervous, the subconscious part of you that has been there since the dawn of like the saber-toothed tiger that says, hey, you're alone right now.
Yeah.
You are vulnerable. This is bad. You're going to die.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's subconscious. Like it's just a matter of recognizing that you've been cut from the herd. And it's kicking off it's erroneously kicking off your fear circuits.
Yeah. You're about to be eaten.
Yeah, you were about to be eaten, basically. It's human fear of death. That's all stage fright is. It's human fear of death. And once you have enough experience with that, which is like cognitive behavioral therapy, but once you have enough experience of getting up in front, like, hey, I didn't get eaten this time either, eventually your body starts to go like, okay, false alarm. Right? We're probably not gonna get eaten this time.
Yeah.
It didn't happen the last 30 times, so 31, probably all right.
Totally.
That's what stage fright is. Stage fright is primarily a malfunction of the limbic system based on the fact that we are weak when we are cut from the herd.
Right. So that makes performing arts like a professional dealer of death.
Yeah,
like
it really is. It's a sort of a celebration of being alive.
Right.
Goes back to learn to love the bomb. Get past the fear of failure. And the more you do it, the easier it is to get past that fear.
Yeah. Totally. Oh, I love that. So within sort of the aspects of, being a mentor and just sort of teaching the students within this cohort or any that you've had over the past 14 years, what's been, I guess, the most sort of profound experience for you? The one that kind of made an impression with respect to kind of coming back from Jordan, with respect to surviving Chicago and just everything kind of before it. Was there anything that sort of pops out?
Every time we do something that ends up defying expectations, that's, if you stop and think about it, we ask a group of people to come together for 6 to 8 pretty intense weeks, working 5 nights a week together, rehearsing, being, hopefully, honest and true versions of whatever characters the playwright has written. We ask them also to learn new skills, like maybe play an instrument on the stage, or learn how to juggle, or learn how to fight with a rapier, or the countless number of things that playwrights dream up to torture actors.
Right. Ad infinitum.
Yeah. And seeing these students experience all of this and take it all in stride and sort of gradually become more and more professional. One of the secrets of educational theater is we don't, in regular professional theater, like, well, you got to play and you go out and find the actors for that play. Find the actors to fit the play the best. In educational theater, you've got the actors and they have to kind of find a play to jam. Like we have, wow, 8 of these roles, we have the people who are perfect. This 9th role, well, that student's going to suffer.
Sure.
But it's what they're going to do.
Right.
Right? So you kind of have to jam the play over the students. And to see the students rise to the occasion time and time and time again of these things that are demanded of them by plays that they didn't choose, right. Plays that we chose for them because we thought it would be best for their educational experience and trying to make them a well-rounded performer. That to me is like, wow, here, I'm going to give you something, I'm going to make you really struggle. And then they do it, and they exceed my expectations. That's the most profound part. Mm-hmm. You know, the better... I had a professor in grad school who told me that his philosophy as a teacher was to guide and inspire. And I didn't really care what he meant at the time because I was a student in grad school and I was just trying to graduate. Right. And now that I'm in his position, could not be a better phrase, guide and inspire. That's every time I have the opportunity to do that, I think that's what I find so rewarding and kind of profound about it. Like this is, wow, look, here's another opportunity to guide and inspire. Here's another opportunity to say, hey, maybe if we looked at it this way. Another opportunity to expand a worldview or to change a mind or to make room for someone's vulnerability or to make room for somebody else's story.
Yeah.
Like it's the best gig ever. Sure beats working.
There you go. Yeah, 100%. I love that. Guiding and inspiring. That's sort of your North Star.
That's my job, man.
I love that. Well, guiding north and heading westward, I'd like to talk about the final weekend, potentially.
Oh, right. True West.
Of True West.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, 7:30 in the Motion Capture Soundstage, which is the big steel building right by the Outdoor Theater.
There you go. Absolutely.
And Sunday matinee at 2 o'clock.
Okay, great. How's that sort of been? Have you done that play before?
I was forced to read it in undergrad.
Okay.
And at the time, I thought that Sam Shepard's work was basically just like a really difficult actor exercise. Because the stuff that he asks actors to do is sometimes fairly extreme. Yeah. And sometimes he asks actors to flip from one extreme to another within a couple of lines, which is a big transition to make.
Right.
It's sort of like going from a major to a minor seventh to a fifth to a minor to a fifth.
Right.
Right?
Right.
To use a music.
I love it.
Right.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm right on that with you.
So why are we jumping? Oh, and by the way, we're going to go from 3/4 to 4/4 to 7/8.
Yeah.
And I want to do like one phrase of like 6/15.
Right. 100%. And then you have to walk over here to over there.
Yeah.
And you have to,
right.
Yeah.
And that's so Shepard can be really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And the trick that I think I've learned is that the more you strip it down and the more honest you make the more the actor gets out of their own way and becomes a conduit for the story.
Yeah.
Right? And tries to find the most truthful version of what this character is going through in themselves.
Yeah.
The more Sam Shepard's work makes sense.
Got you. Right.
And it's incredibly funny in a really dark way.
Love that.
And it's just been these actors have been a joy. Like, if you cast a show right, you don't have to direct much. Mm-hmm. You really don't. That's the other secret of this. Like, if you find the right people and put them in the right roles, again, you just have to kind of guide and inspire and let them take care of the rest. The directors who tell you where to stand, how to speak, like what words to say and the way to say them and like what gestures you should make and when you should pick up your prop. Like those people should really be doing puppet shows. Because all they're doing is manipulating other people on stage.
Sure.
My greatest joy is to nudge an actor in the right direction and watch them find something new that I didn't even expect.
Right.
Right? Because they're an artist too. They're interpreting these words and they're trying to find the life. And they're the ones who, when the lights go up, they're the ones who are going to be out there in front of the audience making an idiot of themselves if I don't protect them.
Right.
So when everybody's working together and they all look like they're in the same show and the audience is reacting the way I suspected they would react, because as a director, I'm kind of the avatar of the audience. Like my job is to like, well, how's the audience going to, does that read? Will the audience understand this? Like, is this clear? Is it really as funny as I think it is? Like, it's a great gig.
Yeah. That's so cool. And I know with that specific play, you know, it's got this, you know, very notable actors have played it. I mean, John Malkovich.
Malkovich and Sinise made it famous in some ways. Here's another small world story for you.
Yeah.
We'll go out on this one, right?
That's okay.
Okay. So the Steppenwolf Theatre Company, which was born in the basement of a church in Evanston, Illinois, was semi-discovered, was founded by Terry Kinney and Jeff Perry and Gary Sinise. Malkovich came in just a little bit later along with Laurie Metcalf, and they were doing really great work. But they were in the basement of a church in Evanston, which is way north suburbs of Chicago. And a guy named Sheldon Patinkin was kind of instrumental in getting them to come down to the North Loop part of Chicago to a theater on Halsted Street called the St. Nicholas. It was a converted bakery. And so it was really long and really narrow. And the way they built the theater was to put the seats all along this long wall and the stage all along this long wall. And then it wasn't very deep. So there was only about 5 rows. So even if you're in the 5th row, like you could almost reach across the other 3 rows and touch John Malkovich or Gary Sinise. Like, and so if you got Gary Sinise and John Malkovich like wrestling out Sam Shepard and sweating on you, like right there. That's kind of what we tried to recapture in the way we've staged it at the soundstage. And we're only 5 rows deep. And the audience is right next to us there. Sheldon Patinkin ended up being one of my mentors at Second City.
Yeah, okay.
While I was working at the Touchstone, I learned that it was originally the St. Nicholas.
Wow.
Remember,
okay.
I get fired from this place. But
that kind of, you know, makes
it they had one of those pigeonholes of boxes, like where you put your mail in, like from the office. You're like, oh, have you checked your box? And it's got like the press tape stuff that you put names on, right? And mine's got like layer after layer after layer after layer of press tape on there. And I reach in to get whatever was in my box, and my wristwatch strap catches the tape and pulls it off. And the first piece of tape is there. Gary Sinise's old box.
Come on.
No lie. And then I got fired. So
immediately,
But then I end up Sheldon Patinkin's assistant for the 35th anniversary. Like I was assistant directing the 35th anniversary of the Second City. I got all these great stories from Sheldon about like the history of the. He drops me off at my apartment one day because it was snowing out, and so he's saying, "Oh, I'll drive you home." And so I go, "It's right there, Sheldon." He goes, "There, that place?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's Arkin's old place. When he and Elaine May were shacking up, that was that's where Alan lived."
That's amazing.
Right. Well, it was a crappy basement apartment. It wasn't that amazing, but it was
the fact that it was Alan Arkin. It was like one of the founding.
Yeah. Wow. So it was just one of those, you know.
Come on.
Look, it could have happened to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, what do? You decide, I'm going to go do that. And then you go do it. That's it.
That's it.
That's all there's to it. I mean, Marge, you go and put on Something's Got to Give, and there's Marge having a scene with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. Like, it's you go do it. If you want it, you go do it. You don't let anybody tell you can't. You just go do it. Until you get tired of it, then you go do something else.
Yeah.
It's a marathon disguised as a sprint, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's the theme of this pod, and we'll have our students take that to the bank. Just go do it. You got something on your mind.
That's it.
You got something on your heart. Go do it.
And this is the best place in the world for it, because the thing about Alpine is, and the thing about Sul Ross is, if you want to do something, you can absolutely do it. You just have to be willing to build it.
Yeah.
There's, in part because there's nobody here to say no.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
If you want something, go build it.
Yeah.
And there will be people here who will support you in doing it.
I love that. Gosh, that's a good way to end. I think that's the perfect way to
All right.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your stories. Thank you for your wisdom. And
I love the sound of my own voice. I'll blather on stories all day long.
I think we all do. But no worries. You're welcome anytime. You know, we got something coming up. You want to come on, and I'll be there this weekend to catch the show.
Cool. I can't wait to hear what you think of it.
Absolutely, and I'll make sure that I'm in the front row, so I get spat on, and sweated on.
You want to be in the. You definitely want to be in the. What we're thinking is like the Shamu zone, like the splash zone.
Perfect.
That's where you want to be.
That's amazing. All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Big shout out to Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
Right on, Bobby. Holding in, and shout out to everyone that you mentioned.
Boy, that's a long list.
That's a lot.
You know who you are.
We'll go through it in the comments. But thank you all. Take it easy. Go Lobos, and have a good one.